I want to check on some of the other factors, but I have to take a break. Sorry to cut you. Take a break on Live at 7. Back in a moment. All right, we're back on Live at 7. So we asked you on Facebook this little question about should the government mandate that private property owners allow Jamaicans free access to the country's beaches. Chris says, yeah man, free up the place. Can't pay 3 bills for a liquor stream. Charlene says, yes, either that or stop selling out our beaches. It's an embarrassment to live in a country but cannot afford to enjoy it. People from Germany telling you about your amazing white sand beaches, but you only know about the dark sand beaches. Josimar says, I would not say give free access. We as Jamaicans would take advantage of that, but at least let us pay a smaller fee. Sheeda says, if it's free, who will maintain it? When it's littered and left in a deplorable state, who will pay to clean it up? Let the beaches remain private. We already get local discounts. The taxes we pay can hardly benefit the unfortunate of this country and the country itself. Making these attractions free would only open up to more taxes. Carol says, yeah, everywhere you go, there are free beaches. Angela says, no, anything spelled free, where Jamaicans are concerned, the word destruction usually comes after. And Sulan says, why then sell a beachfront property if you won't have your privacy? If it were my property, I wouldn't want anyone on it. Plus, as a nation, we don't seem to care anything. I wouldn't want to spend my money and then have other people destroy my property. All right, that's the view from Facebook. Let's hear what they're saying on the streets.
I think once you're a Jamaican citizen, the right to the beach is a must. It's your birthright. Overseas counterparts were able to come here and just buy beaches. Our government allow that. Our people who are not standing up to the government allow this.
I think it should be mandatory. It's sovereign property, so once it is sold, what the government should do is to make the beach still a public thoroughfare so that members of the public could have access to it without having to pay a fee.
Make any sense? You buy out all of the beaches in Jamaica and yet still Jamaicans don't have a chance of getting their enjoyment when their time comes to get enjoyment. You can, well, it's our country and we are supposed to use our resources as they are there for us. So.
Yes, I think they should, because it's Jamaica's property, and the hotel owners actually, they own the hotel but not the space that surrounds it. So even if you're not going to be using the hotel per se, you should be allowed to use the beaches as a resident of the country, because it's ours.
Yeah, definitely, because water is free, beach is free, and people enjoy themselves in their free time over the years from before we were born, even the government themselves.
All right. I guess you have to factor in, and Amber, let me just ask you this. Some of the points made on our Facebook. What happens if I own a piece of property? I buy a beachfront property because I want property with the beach. I don't then necessarily want everybody traipsing through in front of my house. Is there any merit in that suggestion?
Yes, surely. I agree with that, Simon. I'm not saying that should be the case. What I'm saying is that places like the One Love Trail and the Winifred Beach and Hellshire and these other places, which are owned by either the UDC or some other government agency, that the government should realize that these places should be accessible to the Jamaican public. I'm not saying that, for example, as you said, if you have your private property, you don't necessarily want when you wake up in the morning and step out on your porch, there's a stranger right there. That I totally understand. But at the moment, that's not the only way it's going, Simon. We can see with the struggle over there in Winifred Beach and right here with Little Duns River in Ocho Rios, that it's just about every other beach that is owned by the government, that is either going to be privatized by some investor or the government agency is going to set it up to make money. So that's what I think, you know, the people are saying. Free up some of the beaches. Let us have certain areas where we know that this area is ours. And just to touch on a point, Simon, someone made a comment, I think it was one of your Facebook viewers, to say that if it's free, who's going to maintain it? Let me just say that the Little Duns River has been maintained for so many years without the intervention of any government agency.
As has Winifred Beach.
Yes, between history, who has been the caretaker, who was actually removed from the property. For many, many years, he would walk around and pick up the garbage in the evenings. Other persons come along, persons like a virgin down here in Ocho Rios, Michael Fabulous, he's a singer. He's taken interest in the place. I've had 3 persons commit to donating to buy a garbage compactor, or, you know, what you call it, to put garbage in. And so far, like I said, over the many, many years, from Bob Marley was alive, that place has been there. The beach has been maintained. Can I just also say that the Little Duns River is on what is called the One Love Trail. Now, Simon, I don't know if you know what the One Love Trail is, but it is an attraction that was established by the government in cooperation with the craft traders in order for them to, you know, be able to earn from tourists that they would take on the trail. However, that never came to fruition because they couldn't come to an agreement between the craft vendors and the government as to what would happen with the shops. So it has been abandoned. The only thing on the trail are some plants that, you know, they've been there from whenever. They keep growing. Then there's 2 offices, which were supposed to be information booths for tourists and locals. And then there's a set of bathrooms. If you see the bathroom, Simon, it's dilapidated. The offices are dilapidated, the trail itself. So if the government put that together and then left it there to rot and to just go to waste, and I'm sure money was invested to put it together, you know, my point is, if they do that, how can they now come and say that if they privatize the beaches and, you know, they're doing it in order to make money for the country, it's in our interest? It's like a conflict to me, because the One Love Trail was a waste. Waste of, on the internet I saw that it was, what, $30 million invested for no good reason.
Well, there you go. DJ Amber, I want to thank you for joining us on Skype to talk about what we think is an important issue and what clearly a number of Jamaicans also think. Thank you for having me as well. Good. Thanks for being here. Marie, the other thing I noticed, for instance, in Barbados, because when Amber talked about, yes, nobody wants to have a beachfront property and you wake up and there's somebody staring into your porch, is that the distance between the front of the beach homes and the actual water line is huge.
Significant.
Yeah.
As much as 50 feet.
Ours isn't.
No, ours is not. Because you're allowed, because you own land again, up to the high water mark, you're allowed to set back your building from that boundary, which can, and the building and planning approvals that you get will indicate to you how far your building should be set back from the high water mark.
Which would be for you on
safety
as well, because people are going to access the beach. All right, well, it's certainly something that stirred a number of comments, because we all like to go to the beach, whether people swim or not. It's a great place for recreation. And certainly when I was a youngster, Turtle Towers Beach was a cracker. Obviously Negril, obviously Hellshire, and it just seems like they're not what they used to be. And I think people want them back, and people want access to them. Thanks to Marie Chambers, who is the Manager of Legal Services at NEPA, and you heard on Skype DJ Amber. You know, Jamaica is not only the land of wood and water, it's the land of paradox. Roads in St. Mary and Portland remain blocked after some 72 hours of rain. Houses flooded out, I suspect so much that some people in a Boscobel scheme had to swim from the living room to the bedroom. Water everywhere, and yet tomorrow we'll probably hear that there's not a drop to drink. State Minister in the Ministry of Works, Richard Azan, toured areas in St. Mary today. Word of advice, Minister, don't promise anybody anything and steer clear of any markets. But the paradox is that while Portland and St. Mary washed out to the sea, at the ironically named Riversdale Health Centre in northeast St. Catherine, there was no water at all. In fact, just a single bucket of water is available at a health facility, and according to the Jamaica Observer, medical personnel are unable to wash their hands after treating patients who number anywhere between 50 and 100 per week. Now, that's just asking for trouble in the disease-spreading department. Then in Runaway Bay, St. Anne, there was the absurd sight of residents of Bel Air standing in the rain protesting about the absence of running water. Now, it's reported that that area has not seen running water since the housing development began almost 20 years ago. Maybe Minister Azan can bypass all the red tape and processes and get the people water fast. Don't worry, Minister. We'll make sure that the Contractor General and the DPP don't hear about it. But oh wait, it probably wouldn't matter if they did anyway. All right, that's it for Live at 7 this evening. Thanks to our guests. On tomorrow's show, are some schools actually grooming criminals? A new study of inmates in Jamaica's correctional institutions reveals a worrying trend. That's what we'll be looking at tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks to the hard-working crew. I'm Simon Crossgill. Join me tomorrow, Live at 7.